Hello friends and followers, welcome to our final video from the head of the bike trip. We will be travelling from Elliston back to our hometown of Cowell. Along the way we'll be stopping in Port Lincoln for 3 nights to explore the area and show you some of the highlights. We hope you enjoy coming along with us. Good morning, today we will be travelling from Elliston to Port Lincoln. We will be staying 3 nights at the Bayview RV park on the outskirts of town. There are a few places we will call in like Sheringa and Coffin Bay. We have stayed there at these places before, but it's nice to revisit as we are driving past. See you later, Elliston. It was a nice stay, so if you are into fishing, diving or surfing, Elliston would be a nice place to set up camp. We are approaching Sheringa and the Sheringa Beach turnoff. It's pretty much only a one-shop town with about 30 people living in the area. Not much here other than good surf and fishing beaches. In this area there is so much stone in the fields. That is why they have built their fences out of stone, as you can see on the left. So if you're thinking about driving to Sheringa to go camping, surfing or fishing, the road is very well maintained. Any vehicle can drive on this road. Here is the entrance to the Sheringa campground. There is one campground with maybe 10 allocated sites. It's an online booking system campground. Yes, you can free camp near Sheringa at the Sheringa South Rest area on the Flinders Highway. We are towing a big van in here, so it's accessible as long as we can turn around somewhere up here. Hopefully we'll be able to do the loop up here. There are toilets here as well, and it's a 100-metre walk to the beach. We are back in Sheringa now, not much in here. One old church over yonder, the CFS. They said there's a pub here. Well, I think it might be a store. You belong by my side. This store or pub is a licensed store. You might have second thoughts pulling in here looking at the outside. I think enter at your own risk. We'll turn right here to have a bit of a look around Coffin Bay. We have been here a few times. It's only 14 k's from the highway turn off. Coffin Bay is about 46 k's from Port Lincoln. It is a grain growing and sheep farming area on our peninsula. Coffin Bay is definitely worth visiting. It's world-class oysters, pristine white sand beaches and abundance of wildlife. Also there is the Coffin Bay National Park, which is ideal for boating, fishing, sailing, scuba diving and windsurfing. At the southern end of the park is Yankee Bay and its campground, accessible by 2-wheel drive. From that point it is 4-wheel driving on the beach like 7 Mile Beach. Here at the jetty area is a nice lawn area with a view of the bay. Here is a bit of drone footage of Coffin Bay oyster leases from the air, the bay and the caravan park. We'll turn right here onto the Flinders Highway towards Port Lincoln. Here is Bayview RV Park that we're staying at. It's nice and green. It's a $30 a night for pad site, $20 unpad. we went pad because the weather was not in our favour for charging batteries. And another view from the front of the park, which are the unpad sites. Today we're off to the Lincoln National Park to see how far we can get. We might even make it down to Sleaford Bay, which would make it about a 100-kilometre trip. I forgot to restart the relive map until we were already on the road, so it missed out the first part of the drive, but don't worry, you'll see where the route will take, where the map is shown at the end. Well, it's not a very good day today. It's overcast and a bit drizzly, but that's all right. This is the view as we leave the RV park and continue on our journey. Driving out of Port Lincoln and making our way to the national park. It's a bit of a roller coaster road out here with lots of ups and downs. We'll call in here on the way. This is a little coastal town of Tulka, just a short drive out of Port Lincoln. We are turning off to the Lincoln National Park. There's a $14 entry fee per vehicle to enter the park. The road up ahead turns to dirt, but we'll head this way instead, as it's still a sealed road. At the base of Stanford Hill Walkway, we'll pull up here and have a look around. It looks like a good spot to take a few photos and maybe some video as well. If you're reasonably fit, you can walk up the hill to the monument. Stanford Hill is a prominent local landmark and is home to Matthew Flinders Monument, which offers great views of Port Lincoln and Boston Bay. Here you'll find walking trails, camp areas and a boat ramp to access the water. There are a couple of caravans staying in here. If you're relying on solar power though, it might be a bit of a challenge as the campground is quite shaded by trees. We're heading down this little walkway to see what looks like a nice secluded beach. I've definitely spared no expense in protecting the vegetation with a well-built steel walkway all the way down. From here you can see Port Lincoln on the horizon with Boston Bay across the passage, along with several other islands scattered across the bay. We are driving through another camping area in the national park. It's great to see the access roads to the campgrounds are sealed, which it makes it much easier for caravans and motorhomes, especially after wet weather. We stopped here to capture the view. You can see Port Lincoln in the background across the bay, and a little closer are some tuna farms. From here the road turns to dirt as we continue through to the northern part of the national park. So far, the dirt road is in pretty good condition. I've definitely driven on much rougher roads than this. The countryside here in this part of the national park is quite different. It is not as densely vegetated. Lots of low shrubby plants. And there we go. That's a great view. You can see Port Lincoln in the background and the tuna farms a little bit closer. Anyway, we're nearly at the end of the drive here. I might head up here and have a look, see what the view's like. To the northern point of the Lincoln National Park. There are a few islands scattered around and the mainland is just visible way over on the horizon. Boston Island is a bit closer, and there you can see Cape Donington Lighthouse. Anyway, we'll go for a bit of a drive down towards Sleaford Bay and see what we can find down there. We have been told it's a beautiful part of the Lower Eyre Peninsula with rugged coastlines, big sand dunes and some great views out towards the Southern Ocean. It's not sealed all the way to Sleaford Bay. It's not bad anyway, and it's worth to see what's waiting down here. Here we are at Sleaford Bay. It looks a bit rough for a swim today, but it's still a great place to stop and take in the scenery. Another quick stop at a lookout over Sleaford Bay. It's a great spot to take in the coastline and see how wild and open this area really is. Another view of Sleaford Bay. It's a pretty wild day out there today, very windy and a bit rough, so probably not ideal for swimming conditions. Still, it's great to see the coastline showing a different side. It's another day. Today we will be looking around at the marina area, the foreshore, and up to Winters Hill for some spectacular views over Port Lincoln. We'll start with the marina. Here is the main residential area. Many of these waterfront homes have a direct access to the marina, making it a beautiful place to live. Here's where the boats have been unloaded. There's always plenty of activity, making it one of the busiest parts of the marina. Here are some more of a fishing fleet. The prawn boats are waiting for the right moon phase and good weather conditions before heading out to sea. For now, it's a quiet day around the marina, but before long these boats will be back on the water harvesting some of Australia's finest seafood. Here on the left is Curtin Point with Boston Island in the background. As we come around, we come to the wharf where the fuel tankers unload their cargo. Just beyond that, a ship is being loaded with grain with the conveyor stretching out to the deep water port. We also see the fishing fleet moored at the harbour alongside the large grain silos used to store the region's harvest before it's exported. If you're visiting Port Lincoln and enjoy getting out for a walk, one of the best options is the Park Trail. It's a coastal trail stretching for about 35 kilometres with one of the most popular sections leading to Billy Light Point. Along the way you'll enjoy beautiful views across Boston Bay, the beaches, the marina and plenty of local bird life. Here's one of the views as you walk along the Park Trail. You're treated to some of the beautiful views across the bay. Here we are driving along Tasman Terrace, one of the main streets of Port Lincoln. It offers great views across the bay, along with plenty of shops, cafes and places to stop and explore. Here's a view along the Port Lincoln foreshore with the grain silos and wharf in the background. Out in the harbour, a ship is being loaded for the next voyage. Foreshore is beautifully maintained, making it a great place to walk while enjoying the views across the bay. On the Port Lincoln foreshore you'll find the life-size bronze statue of Mackay Diva, Australia's greatest Melbourne Cup champion. She made racing history by becoming the only horse ever to win the Melbourne Cup 3 years in a row, 2003, 4 and 5. We are heading just out of town now to Winters Hill Lookout, one of the best vantage points in Port Lincoln. From the top you'll enjoy sweeping views over the town, Boston Bay, the marina and surrounding coastlines. Welcome to the top of Winters Hill. Let's take in the spectacular views. Here's the view from the top of Winters Hill lookout. Down below is Port Lincoln with Boston Island in the background. Just beyond the island you can see the tip of Port Lincoln National Park. That's where we were exploring yesterday, enjoying some of the spectacular coastal scenery. Sorry about the clarity of the views. It wasn't an ideal day for sightseeing, but hopefully you can still appreciate the scenery. The backside of Winters Hill, looking across the valley, you can see a number of small farmlets and rural properties, giving this area a peaceful country feel just a few minutes from Port Lincoln. Today is the last day of our head of the bike trip as we begin our journey home. We've just left the Bayview RV Park after a very enjoyable stay. It was very nice, quiet park and a great place to base ourselves while exploring the area. Now it's time to head home after another memorable trip. Along the Lincoln Highway now. On the right is the beautiful sheltered waters of Boston Bay, and on the left are some of Port Lincoln's most impressive waterfront homes. With these spectacular bay views, it's easy to see why many of these properties are worth well over $1 million. There are some beautiful canola crops along the way. At the moment there are more yellow paddocks than green ones, with the bright canola fields really standing out across the landscape. Tumby Bay, as it's just about the perfect time for the bakery shop. The Tumby Bay bakery has a great reputation, so we'll pop in and grab something before we continue on our way. I'm not sure if the bakery is on this street. Oh, there it is on the left, the famous Tumby Bay Bakery, well known around these parts. Unfortunately, there's not much parking for caravans, so we'll keep moving and see if we can find somewhere a bit easier to pull up. Anyway, we'll have a drive around Tumby Bay first and then come back to the bakery. That gives us a chance to see a bit of the town before we stop. As you can see, the water of Tumby Bay is nice and calm. It's a lovely beach and a great spot to relax and take walks or fishing along the jetty. We continue north. Port Newell is about 40 kilometres from Tumby Bay, then another 35 kilometres to Arna Bay. Great little coastal holiday town and well worth a visit. If you'd like to see more of these places, I've already made separate videos on YouTube covering both of these towns. We hope you enjoyed our series of videos covering the head of the Bight and the towns we visited. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on our next adventure.